Previously on Inside Scoop.
Or Ari and Binyam. What we don't know are really just about anything about why, other than we think she's just tired of the same. And so she's been, with somebody for a few years, and it's time to go.
She sure likes to bellyache. Oh, she's another one I can't stand. She's almost in the same category with Lauren.
Well, I think it's different because
as far as the woe is me, I have to complain all the time.
But it's not even about her child. It's about Binyam.
Right.
It's about the person she decided to marry. This seems odd.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever. It's just the constant, I can't be satisfied. My life is great, but I'm going to say it sucks. Whine, woe is me.
Yeah, and I think Binyam's got a lot of Florian in him. Binyam's not the guy that's going to coddle her.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Coupled with Chaos.
90-Day Fiancé Inside Scoop, volume 195. It's been a while since I said this is a lot of inside scoops, but we're pushing, a month and a week, and we'll hit the big 200, whatever that is, the big 200.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. It is rare for us lately that we have like a big inside scoop. But
it's been kind of slow, but this week,
it is. This has been a monster
something
week.
In the water.
Rachel and John, Rob and Sophie. There's even Gabe and Isabel in here. And of course, what would this be without Garrick and Dannielle? Without something from them? Emily and Kobe. And kind of, we do go rumor, gossip, innuendo, and then we're like, I think maybe our last story, which is a Seeking Sister Wife story, is one step below all of that.
Oh, okay.
Right. How about that?
The half-truth?
I don't know. I'm not. It's
speculation.
Something. It's something. Let me tell you. So it'll be good. It's a Seeking Sister Wife story that does not involve, thankfully, Garrick and Dannielle.
Oh, well,
So that is good. Right off the bat, I would say the big news of the week, I think Rachel and John are a little upset by Rob and Sophie because they maybe upstaged them this week. So Rachel and John, if you don't remember, this would have been, fall of 2018.
Raging Irish Guy.
Season 2 of B90. So this should tell you.
Versus Pregnant American Lady. And they sing karaoke online together.
This is how they met. Evidently, this is not the best way to meet. Maybe you should do a criminal background check before you fall in love with somebody.
I'm thinking maybe there's at least an element of people, not all, but a faction of karaoke singers who are the get drunk in a bar and then sing type.
I get it. And so
I'm thinking he's of that.
Get drunk in a bar and bust an eye socket kind of guy.
And go to jail for assaulting people.
So right. Rachel and John, if you aren't an OG 90-day person, and this is still past OG, but not that far, this would have been, I guess it would have been year 3 or year 4 of 90 Day. They started to do B90 stuff around then, and so it started to come out as they could do some more content.
I mean, they seemed like a sweet couple when they're together. I mean, they seem to work and as a couple, and he seemed like a doting dad, and they were devoted to continuing their relationship apart. But
can you go deeper into the story? Maybe just a little background of, and we didn't prep this at all, but a little background of Rachel and John. They met during karaoke.
Yeah, and you online, and you can't just, even in defense of someone, you can't just go around permanently injuring people because they're bad. He was in a bar. He said a guy was being rude and obnoxious to a woman, and he went over and decked him. Well, John's a big guy, and he drinks, and he's Irish, So, he's got the anger factor happening. He apparently has had anger management issues in the past. He has some history.
5 convictions of
For
assault charges. No jail time,
Right.
but 5 actual assault convictions in his past.
So this stranger that he assaulted was permanently injured by this punch.
Yeah, but for the last 7 years, they've been trying to get to America and fight this visa process. The issue that they've had with the visa process is his background.
His criminal record. Yeah, America's not going to let a repeat offender, aggressive criminal that's violent, repeat violent offender into the country just because they married somebody here.
Well, if they're maybe a boxer or UFC fighter,
Unless
maybe they will.
They have some value to add.
Right.
I mean,
so, John, not necessarily a ton of it. So
other than we like your accent.
For 7 years, they've been trying to get a visa, and it's been denied, and it's been on the last step for a long time. All of this has been going on.
And she was supposedly already pregnant when they met, but then there was some stories that came out about it might have been his to begin with.
That has not been verified, but it's
right. It was some gossip.
It's possible.
And then they had another kid together since they've been married.
So
there's 2 kids
here. I'm not sure that the one kid that they do have a kid together.
They did have a kid together, didn't they? I thought she had another child.
No, I think this is still the same child. I don't think they've had one together. There's been a lot. This is a lot of years.
Because she had the kid. She can't leave the U.S. because she has a kid with someone else.
An older
who has
one.
Custody rights, right? And she's not allowed to take that child out of the country. So it was never an option for her to take her kids and go there. So if he couldn't come here, however long it took, then their relationship's over. So that's where we are.
This week, this is the statement. And John's really came out. I guess John's came out first. He said, I will not be joining Rachel and the girls in the United States. It's not the future. The future we wanted for so long isn't the future that we'll have. And he kind of got a little more wordy into, I'm really a great dad, and I'm great, and I'm the best. That was a bit of what he said in his. I think it was the next day that Rachel came out, and this is a bit wordy, but she said, this is her statement.
You can summarize.
It says, and I'll read it. This is her words. She says, it absolutely pains me to post this. It isn't the ending we were hoping for, nor is it the finale we were thinking would happen. Long-distance relationships can be brutal on the toughest couples. We have, unfortunately, grown, and this is interesting, have grown too far apart, is what she says.
Wow.
The decision has been made on our end to not continue. The visa journey is sadly over. It is the end of an era. I don't know about all that, an end of an era, right? I think this would be like FDR's presidency over. That's the end of an era. Herbert Hoover, right? End of the FBI era. I don't know that John and Rachel are at the end of an era. And it was not an easy decision to make. Please give us the privacy, or maybe John's words, privacy, and time to adjust to our new reality. So the interesting part of this here, for me, was that statement of we've grown too far apart.
Yeah. So, in other words, we can't sustain a long-distance relationship, and I don't want to.
Right.
So, it's over. The end.
Yeah.
Next.
This bar fight for him, it was supposedly while he was in college. He said he was, and she's defended him, said he was young, dumb, and reactive is what it was. But to be honest, John's been kicked off multiple social media platforms for his rants, and for him, I don't even recall him saying he's sorry that it happened.
Right.
And
didn't he have to go to like anger management stuff and all that? I think that was part of his court.
Yeah, I just he still brags about it being, it was me versus multiple guys, and they were disrespectful to women. So I think the guy's blinded, and he broke his eye socket, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, look, everybody deserves happiness, right?
Yeah, I think he broke the orbital bone.
Yeah.
That takes a severe blow.
And how many, we all do get into bar fights, don't we? How many bar fights have you been in?
0.
I was kind of almost in a fight at Kroger, weren't you? About some peaches? Weren't you almost in a fight about that?
No.
You about decked some guy. No, that wasn't it?
No.
But look, everybody deserves to be happy. We're not saying John and Rachel don't deserve to be happy. He could be remorseful, and they deserve to move on. They do. But the problem is do exceptions get made just because, I don't know, you're different now? Or maybe you're not different?
Well, I mean,
Where's the line?
Probably the U.S. government view, is they don't want him to come here and find out he's not different. Because then he's added to our prison system.
Yeah.
And ours is one of the busiest in the world.
And if there's something that we're good at as a nation, we are really good at provoking people.
Yes, a lot of mouthy Americans.
We do.
For sure.
We are really.
It's America.
I'm one of them.
Say what I want, and I can do what I want.
I can offend quickly with my mouth. I have
certainly can
provoked many people to physically
want to assault you, yes.
And a few have.
Yes.
So the thought is that when I can do that with my words, then you think, well, I won. I beat you with my words. And then what you find out is, I'm about to get beaten with my knuckles.
Once in a blue moon do you do that at home. And I always call you out on it because I think you forget that you're at home, because I know you talk to people that way outside of home.
I'm in a very serious industry with very serious ramifications if something happens. So that happens, right?
I think there's work Steve and there's Christian Steve.
It's hard to differentiate all of that because I work from home a lot, right? Like now, even now, I have a schedule open and I'm working on a schedule and we're talking about 90 Day all at the same time.
Right.
So when I look at this screen over here, I'm like, I can't believe they're doing that. And then I look over at my notes and, that's where I'm at.
And the bad thing is if somebody calls you on the phone when you're at home, because then you are not home, Steve.
Oh, it happens, right? So that's it.
Right.
So maybe John could put on the front, but ultimately deep down inside, he's the same guy. It's entirely possible. And when you see these rants online, you go, this is just not, if for somebody who is trying to make a difference, if you looked at their online presence and went, this guy is a bit of a hothead.
Right.
I'm not sure that he's really all that different.
Right. And so then take that online angry person and imagine them kicking back more than a few in a bar environment, and what could happen.
Yeah. Your online presence matters. Like people online know how good I look in a construction vest and a hard hat.
I've heard this.
They know that now. Right.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So for us, there's kids involved here, and that's a serious thing. I think it's kind of
it's probably better that it ends this way.
We've said it before.
But they are married. So
love isn't enough.
Yeah.
It just isn't. So visa
so
breakup.
Now they have to get divorced.
What's your gut? Her statement about.
That's right. I forgot. They are married.
Yep.
So it's even worse that he can't even get approved on a spousal visa, which is easier to get than a K-1.
Because even Michael made it here.
Yeah, right.
And he was scamming her the whole time.
And everybody knew it.
Oh, we have got what is possibly. There are a few times that we get into just major big 90-day things. Jeffrey, Ed, these clips that we've played previously. But I think this Rob and Sophie thing has exploded in the last 48 hours. So we've got a clip of that, Rob's rant.
That is just beyond description.
And there's a new twist in the last 24 hours. And so that, Gabe and Isabel, Garrick and Dannielle, Emily and Kobe, and Nalia and Naheem is the surprise rumor, gossip, and innuendo for this week. So stick around for all of that.
Thank you for listening.
You can listen to the rest of this episode
by subscribing to our Coupled with Chaos channel on Apple,
by subscribing to our Patreon,
or by subscribing to our Supercast
for $3.99 a month,
where you can hear us talk about reality shows,
real life, and more on our podcasts,
covering shows airing on TLC, A&E, Bravo, and the WE Network.
Just follow the instructions in the show notes.
Tell your friends about this podcast.
And rate and review us on your favorite podcast player.
Follow us at Coupled with Chaos on all the socials.
Or contact us directly by email at coupledwithchaos@gmail.com.